Hello and welcome to Booking It, your one-stop channel for book reviews. Today I wanted to talk about Run or Die by Kilian Jornet, a story of an endurance athlete who runs all over the world some of the toughest and longest races that humans have ever achieved. I'll start, as always, by reading the blurb. The Times are quoted as saying, "This man can run 100 miles, up and down mountains, without stopping, after skipping breakfast. Meet Kilian Jornet, the world's greatest ultra runner." There's then a paragraph below that says Kilian Jornet has conquered some of the toughest physical tests on the planet. He's run up and down Mount Kilimanjaro faster than any other human being, and struck down world records in every challenge that has been proposed, all before the age of 25. Dominating ultramarathons and races at altitude, he has redefined what is possible in running, astonishing competitors with his near superhuman fitness and ability. Jornet adores the mountains as fiercely as he runs in them. In Run or Die, he shares that passion, inviting readers into a fascinating world rich with the beauty of rugged trails and sweeping high-altitude vistas, the pulse-pounding drama of racing, and a consuming desire to tackle tests that push him to the very brink. Now, obviously by the title, you would assume that the target audience would be people that like long-distance running, and you wouldn't be too far from the truth, but I think it's got a much broader range than that. There's much more to it than just, oh, this book's about running and that's it. It's almost like it's almost like a love letter to nature and being out in the mountains and having that personal freedom and those endorphins that give you that runner's high, being on the very edge of what a human is capable of. There's much more to it than just running, but I'll give him the dramatic title. So I think this book could appeal quite nicely to anyone who just wants a good read about what's inside the head of an ultra athlete, someone at the top of their game, And you could get that from anyone. You could get that from anyone at the top of their field in any sport. But I think there's something quite primal about just running. Obviously there is nuance to it. There's a lot of skills intertwined with it, but I think everyone can understand straight off the bat, without having to do any other prior research, what it's like to run, and to run for a long time, or what is perceived as a long time. So I think the book does a fantastic job of describing what goes through the head of someone who's been running for 15 hours that day and is going to get 3 hours sleep and then run for another 15 hours, and almost the philosophy of it, what they're thinking about, how they're trying to motivate themselves, how they're trying to tune out the pain, and really get, you're on the very edge of what's capable of what's possible. And the kind of mental gymnastics you have to go through to keep yourself running when you've been going that long is really well conveyed in this book. And I've never done anything of an extreme endurance, so it was novel, to say the least. It really does give you a fascinating insight, and I try and use it now in my everyday life, the things I learned in this book. It's not all about running. It is a little bit about the man himself, Kilian, of course, his personal trials and tribulations. There's a little bit of romance in between all the running, a little insight into his personal relationships. Someone smarter than me could probably connect how that correlates to what motivates him and what inspires him. The wording is beautiful. You can really picture the smells, the sights, the sounds, where we are, the temperature, the heat, the fatigue. You can feel all of it. It really is powerful. I really personally enjoyed it. It did it. I think whenever a book can give you a new perspective on something you're not familiar with, without having to run for 48 hours, I think it's done its job. You know, it puts it in a special category of book when it can inspire you to kind of get up from where you are, whatever chair you sat in, wherever you're laying in your bed, to go and do what the book is talking about. You know, that is, you know, when a book itself can be like a call to action, that is the sign of a good book. Inspiring, motivating, captivating. I highly recommend this book to anyone who just wants a different perspective on athletes rather than what we get in typical media. And if you just want to read some beautiful imagery about the mountains, being in the woods, the sights, the smells, like I said, this is definitely one to buy. Thanks for listening to Booking It today, and I'll see you on the next one.